All right, everybody, welcome back in. Another late shift edition, as we'll call it, of the Fresh Shakes podcast with Russo and Felice. I am Paul Russo. Across from me, as always, especially this time of year, man, myth, legend himself, in the hoodie, Nick Felice. Nick, how you doing? We had ourselves a fun little weekend.
Yeah, did you win?
I won some prop bets.
All right.
Nothing major.
No
squares.
I won the money line, so that was good. It was a good weekend.
How daring.
Good Super Bowl. Another one in the books. Still cold.
Yes.
I think things are looking up tomorrow.
Yeah. What is it supposed to be tomorrow? See, this is where the days this time of year kind of run together, kind of, in the weather sense. Is it tomorrow that's supposed to be where we get trending to 50 again or something? Or
tomorrow's in the 40s.
Right.
And then 50s on Thursday. But I think it's Thursday night where it's in the 40s of a low.
You love to see it.
Which would melt a lot of that snow, especially with the rain that we're expected to get too. So, and I'm Nick with the weather. We're going to go to Paul with the sports.
Now, before we dive into the topics here, we haven't discussed it in a few weeks. Probably something we should discuss next week for sure. But how about your Notre Dame Fighting Irish over there?
Yeah, man.
Quick shout out to them.
Thank you. Respect. Duke did survive tonight against Wake Forest. We play Wake Forest at where's Wake Forest again?
Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Winston-Salem. We're gonna go there this Saturday. Can't sleep on Boston College on Wednesday. We host them. Boston College is one of our 3 ACC losses this year, back in December, though.
How about that?
Definitely a different team. But we got win over Kentucky. Duke outplayed us. We beat North Carolina, beat Miami at Miami. So, huge game against Wake this weekend. But we got to beat Boston College, and we're looking good. Joe Lenardi had us as a 9 seed this morning.
I don't trust Lenardi.
I know Jerry Palms had us a little higher than that. Haven't checked him late, but if they keep winning, they'll be in the tournament for the first time since my college days. So I'm excited for that.
By the way, quick update on the weather, courtesy of my phone. 45 for the high tomorrow, allegedly. 45.
Yeah, so. It's always allegedly. I mean, you don't know until it comes tomorrow.
Speaking of tomorrow, let's take a look at our topics. Go and discuss obviously the superb owl, and we'll have our first update as we keep prolonging it on the Players Association and MLB and their discussions, because we do have I call it a major update because at this point, if you're on the side of
it's pitchers and catchers
Manfred and the owners, I do want to fight you.
It is pitchers and catchers report week.
Shut up. And then Daytona and NASCAR. So, fun stuff.
Season starts this weekend.
Yes.
Daytona
first practices were today.
Daytona week's already here. Did it come up on you fast?
It's one of the shorter off seasons. They're only off for about 12 to 13 weeks, give or take. Not a ton of time that they're off. Seems like just yesterday I saw the 7 weeks to Daytona during the first round of the NFL playoffs.
Yeah.
So here we are. Anyway, any other things to touch on before we jump in?
Big
I don't think
in
so.
This area, if you like the Buffalo Sabres, Jack Eichel is making his Vegas debut tomorrow. Tomorrow?
Not what I thought you were going with. That's for sure.
What's going on with the Sabres? Anything else?
Well, no. I mean, I know they're playing today, but definitely I didn't think you were going to be taking a shot across the bow at Sabres Nation out there.
Hey, they're better off.
Okay, fair enough.
I think they are.
Speaking of better off, Nick, you'll have your moment to be celebrating and being loud right about Matt Stafford in a moment. But
I did say years ago, probably 10 years ago, that
the Rams did come away victorious in Super Bowl 56, right? Do I have my Roman numerals right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
23-20 they won. They beat the Bengals. Stafford settling their demons. But Cooper Kupp, MVP, I think Was he the odds-on favorite? I think he was close to being the odds-on favorite anyway.
I mean, people were saying Aaron Donald.
But, yeah, Cooper Kupp, hey, 8 catches, 92 yards, 2 TDs. Big one there at the end, obviously, putting them over the edge. Stafford drawing some demons. Rams take second crown, but the Bengals lose another Super Bowl. Do they revert back to the Bengals? I think that remains to be seen, but a lot of swirling stuff now going on for the Rams. Obviously, before the game, we got officially reported about Aaron Donald contemplating retirement. I've kind of said it on here. I've said it elsewhere, and it goes for any sport, really. When you think about retirement, you already have one foot out the door as an athlete. McVay considering retirement as well, going really, in all honesty, what would be the John Madden route, which would be highly interesting. I think he might be kind of the perfect guy to be like a Madden 2.0 kind of thing. I don't think it's going to really happen, but who knows? A lot going on there. So I'll go to you first, though, Nick, because it is the Matt Stafford victory tour for you. Stafford seemed to win now, dating back to, what was it for you, the 2012 fantasy season?
Yep, you are correct.
So go ahead, Nick. Have at it. Take your victory lap.
Well, I mean, there's nothing to celebrate other than him winning a Super Bowl because those teams were not very good when I had Matthew Stafford on my fantasy team, and I was a big fan. You could argue starting to develop as a Detroit Lions fan because of Matthew Stafford. I've loved him, ever since he came into the league. I felt like when the Lions lost those playoff games, I felt like I, as a fan, lost those playoffs games because whenever some stupid Cowboys fan comes up and tells me about Dez Bryant catching the ball, you shouldn't even been in that game.
Okay, now that's a shot across the bow at me.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of. It ain't just you.
Okay, hold on. I need to preface it.
I wasn't.
We were discussing officiating before the game on Sunday, and as an example, I used the wrong one to use in the Felice house, and justifiably so. As a Washington fan, I brought up Dez definitely caught the ball, which drew the ear of many a people. I apologize. I was trying to bring up the fact that the refs aren't as great as they are. Continue.
Anyway, they shouldn't even been in that game because the refs picked up the flag in the game before in the wild card round against the Lions and the Cowboys. Lions should have won that game. Matthew Stafford should have had a playoff win years ago before this year. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I've been a Stafford fan, and if you guys know Cooper Kupp this year, it was just the year of Cooper Kupp. I mean, fantasy owners that had Cooper Kupp, it had to have been about 80% of people who had Cooper Kupp on their team won their championship this year. He was that good.
Yeah.
It was just the year of him. And then goes out, wins the Super Bowl MVP. Aaron Donald could have got it. I mean, he did show up. He made the play of the game at the end there. But Cooper Kupp, he came through. And, the Rams were just loaded. Getting Odell in there, getting Von Miller in there, getting Jalen Ramsey in there a few years before. They've been developing the Super Bowl for the last 2 to 3 years, and then bringing Stafford before this year. It was Super Bowl or bust for them because they traded away a lot of draft picks. It is interesting the direction of this franchise after the Super Bowl, where they'll go, but they won a Super Bowl. It's like, in my comparison to this, Paul, I think I can't ever compare it to baseball because of the no salary cap or any of that. So it's a little different, but it's similar to the Kansas City Royals. They went for it all, in 2015, and they brought in Ben Zobrist and Johnny Cueto and some other names that might be crossing my mind. But they went out and put together a team that was built to win a World Series, and they went and won a World Series. But those years after,
right,
it was bad for the Royals. They just couldn't sign all these guys. And, it's just now they're starting to come back. But, it kind of reminds me of that. The Royals lost in 2014 to the Giants. Yeah. The Rams lost in, 2018 or 19 to the Patriots, whatever it was, a few years ago. So, those two teams were similar, and they got the team that they wanted, and they went out and won a championship. But it's interesting to see how the Rams go now. On the Bengals side of things, Joe Burrow's still the real deal, but it makes you wonder because, he's on a rookie contract, And when he does sign that big deal, are they going to be able to build the pieces that he has around him right now to keep continuing to create teams to go back to the Super Bowl? So interesting. We'll see what happens with the Bengals once they sign Joe Burrow to probably the highest paid quarterback at some point. As you see, it seems like whatever next stud is the next highest paid quarterback. Stafford was at one time that, I remember. So I was rooting for the Rams. I'm pleased that they won. And, but the thing about the NFL, it's not just that these two teams might be going different directions after this, and it's going to be tough for them both to get back to the Super Bowl. But that's the NFL every year, other than the Tom Brady dynasty. It's always, you got teams like the Bengals. They were bad last year, and they come out and make it to the Super Bowl. And so, you got teams that were terrible this year can end up being good teams next year. So that's just, and the NFL is the only sport that does that, where you can change a team around in a year. So cool about that. It was a great game, though.
Yeah.
They were saying it was very few guys to get a game-winning touchdown with a minute 30 left.
Yeah, the game I thought was kind of hit and miss, actually, playing-wise. Some really good stuff, some really bad stuff. But you bring up a good point. The Rams are going to be in cap hell. They've mortgaged their draft future. They're going to have to decide on some players. The beauty of it is, it's weird, I don't think offensively they're going to be in that type of a spot. It's that defense that's been their proverbial strong suit that you'll more than likely see it with. That being said, obviously if Donald were to retire, that would free some things up in theory. But, you also would have to replace Aaron Donald. So
that's a big loss.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bengals, first and foremost, they got to address that offensive line.
Joe Burrow, how many times did he get sacked this playoffs?
I can't remember the number. The last 2 weeks it was over, I think, 11 or something like that. Or last two games.
They almost won. That's the crazy thing. He almost won both those games.
Right. But, he was literally running for his life that whole second half.
And there was two occasions where both Stafford and Burrow got hurt in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, both their legs. Both go in different directions. Not pleasant to see. The Bengals got to address the offensive line. They got to do something with the secondary. I thought the defense, for the most part, actually played pretty good for them. They bent but didn't break for the most part. And that's what you got to do. Unfortunately, the offensive line, which was, one of the X factors going in, kind of failed to show up.
What did you think of that penalty at the end? Penalty at the end there. What they called it was third and goal from the.
Oh yeah, the PI. So I think it was a hold, but yeah, either way.
Yeah.
It
would have been fourth and goal.
Ron Torbert is actually a really good head official and head referee for the NFL. He usually calls a really good game. The thing with the playoffs is you're not with your normal crew. It's the pool of the best at each whatever. Tough because the refs were actually, I thought, called a really great game. Obviously, there was some stuff like the Higgins face mask grab that they missed. But, I thought they were pretty consistent throughout the whole game until there at the end. I thought that was pretty tough to call, given that they were kind of laissez-faire with it the whole time. That being said, to me it goes back to, I think, a lot of what I say. For instance, on the line, you could call holding on offense on the line every single time if you really wanted to. More often than not, you could. Let me rephrase it. That being said, there's always grabbing going on between receivers and whoever's guarding them, whether it be DBs or linebackers. Like I said, I think it's just tough given they were pretty, like I said, laissez-faire with it the whole time. I don't think it made a big difference, in all honesty, only because I think it prolonged. So say they don't call it. Rams kick the field goal, they tie it. I think it's just prolonging the inevitable.
Oh, they're down 4.
Was it the 4? Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's tough. I still think the Rams probably somehow find a way to beat the Bengals. The Bengals just were. They couldn't stop the Rams front 8 from getting getting to Burrow in the second half. Like, they just couldn't. Yeah. So whether or not, I guess at that point, do they actually stop it? I don't know. But I don't know. To me, I probably will have let it go, but I don't know if it really affected it in the long run. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's within the final 2-minute window. Obviously, you question, whether or not at that point does it actually affect the outcome. Sure, maybe. I think I'd entertain the argument, but I don't think so. Like I said, I thought the refs, for the most part, did a really good job.
I just have one more question for you. Stafford wins the Super Bowl. Who does he rank up with as the greatest quarterback up there? Like, is he better than Aaron Rodgers now? Is he where do you rank him?
I mean, it's tough because
I think he's right up there with Drew Brees with the Super Bowl.
I mean, Brees is probably better than Rodgers in that comparison, I think, to make.
He's up there with
I don't know. See, Stafford's part of this really weird, really good, but I don't know how great quarterback group. And you mentioned a couple of them that are in there, like Kurt Warner, really Drew Brees,
Eli Manning.
Personally, I'd put Rodgers and both of the Mannings, in all honesty, in that group. I know it's a hot take about Peyton, but I think
Brett Favre.
Favre is above them. I think, like that next year up is your Favres, your Marinos, your Montanas, your Bradys.
Where's Elway?
See, always another interesting one.
Brady's obviously the top.
Yeah. I mean, that second tier group is, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good quarterbacks still in that group, right? Like a Jim Kelly, Breeze. I'd probably put Elway in that second tier, in all honesty. And it's not like there's anything wrong with that. It's just, I don't know, it's tough. Main issue is with Stafford, right? And this, to a degree, I think that whole entire see it was Detroit thing got proved. But I think now he has to back it up to fully prove that, in essence. So,
do you think Burrow, as great as he is, will be another? Not like they're I'm comparing him to guys that made it to the Super Bowl but never got back, like Cam Newton. Is he a next Colin Kaepernick? Is he a Donovan McNabb? Is he Matt Ryan? These guys that got there, very talented quarterbacks, but never got back. Do you think Burrow could be in that list?
Well, I mean, you mentioned I'll say Matt Ryan first, and that probably doesn't deserve to be. Sure, the way you asked it, yeah, Matt Ryan's in that group. Matt Ryan to me is probably in that second tier type group, in all honesty. I mean, it's tough. He's entering his year 3 next year, right? I mean, Kaepernick was in year 2 when he made the Super Bowl. Newton was in year 6.
Who was McNabb?
McNabb was in year 6 or 7.
Yeah, he's been around. He lost.
I mean, if they get a line in front of him,
Hasselbeck's another one.
Yeah, but now you're just kind of grabbing at some people. Yeah, admittedly there. Yeah, I mean, if they get a line in front of them, then I mean that division's kind of prime for the taking in my mind right now. I mean, it's tough. Like I said, I mean, this was his year 2 season. I mean, you'd be better off asking this almost if it was 2 or 3 years from now.
Here's another question for you. Not related to any team in the Super Bowl. So we're going local here.
Oh.
Because I'm thinking about a comparison for Josh Allen.
Sure.
Phillip Rivers.
No.
Played in a great AFC with Brady's and Mannings. And the AFC's pretty good right now.
I'm not going to entertain this.
I think Josh Allen could be the next Phillip Rivers.
Well, he's already better than Phillip Rivers ever was, for one.
I don't agree with that.
You don't have to. Stats kind of prove it. I mean, there was a lot of bulk volume stuff with Rivers.
I think Josh
Rivers, you want to be honest with you, Rivers is just a dime store Favre. a lot of effort. I'm going to throw it, and somebody's down there, and hopefully they'll catch it.
I don't know. I think Josh Allen, I don't ever see a path to the Super Bowl.
What?
I just think the AFC's too tough, and he's going to be like Phil Rivers' Chargers.
The Bills had the number 2 defense in the league.
I think he could be the next Phil Rivers. Is all I'm saying. If we're comparing quarterbacks.
I am sorry.
Same number.
Rivers was
the same number.
Rivers was never top 3 in quarterbacks in the AFC in his prime in any given year.
He was third.
I'm down for this discussion. No.
It was Manning, Brady, and Rivers.
No.
When he made it to the championship.
No.
He was ahead of Roethlisberger for that year.
No.
For that year, he was.
No.
When he had LT. Yep.
Joe Flacco was ahead of him. Steve McNair was ahead of him.
For that 1 year, he was third.
Stop.
When he made the AFC Championship game, he was third.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, Nick. I don't think I've ever disagreed with you this bad in this podcast before.
I'm just saying. I think Josh Allen's going to
I feel physically...
When it comes to the playoffs, he can't make a Super Bowl.
I feel physically repulsed right now. And by the way, if you want to have that discussion, then I guess Patrick Mahomes is never going to be... It's just Phillip Rivers with a Super Bowl ring.
No.
Yeah.
I think you're missing the point.
No, I think you're missing the point.
Josh Allen and Phillip Rivers are never going to go to the Super Bowl because the AFC is so tough. I'm just saying.
But the Bills were literally the second best AFC team this year.
Yes, and so were Phillip Rivers and the Chargers that 1 year.
Dude, oh man, oh no, oh.
Only time will tell.
Nick. Oh God, I feel physically ill.
But shout out to the Rams on winning the Super Bowl. Congratulations.
Oh,
that poor Bengals fan probably up on the bar again.
We're gonna move on.
Yeah, let's go to some good news.
This isn't good news. It's an update on the MLB and MLBPA. And they're still in an impasse. Manfred wants to cut minor league playing jobs. It's a complete disaster.
Universal pitcher hitting?
No, we have universal DH at least, thank God.
No, not thank God. It's ridiculous. Ban the DH.
Stop. Look, if you're on the side of Manfred and the owners at this point, I will fight you. I mean, look, you can do the rich are just trying to go after the less rich, or less rich are trying to go after the more rich. Whatever. If that's the way you want to try and justify this lockout at this point, go ahead. There's no saving you. At the end of the day, these owners at this point, they don't care about baseball. Manfred doesn't care about baseball. It's the Eric Andre meme of him shooting Hannibal Buress in, how we put whatever. It's the MLB going, why would the players do this after they're the ones pulling the trigger? It's just tough because, look, 2021 was a great year for baseball. It just was on the field. International superstars, two-way player like Shohei Ohtani, Tatis Jr., Vlad Jr., both quite literally and playing wise. And then if you're that diehard person who just loves American players, you have plenty to root for there with a guy like Freddie Freeman or Bo Bichette or Aaron Judge. And it was a fun year of baseball. And,
for half a year.
And a lot of let the kids play, and now Manfred wants to lock the kids out and not play. So I don't know. I tried telling you people, some, not all of you. Some of you understood.
Manfred's like that.
But some people I tried telling you, we'll be lucky to have 120 games at this point. We ain't starting pitchers and catchers for some teams. We're supposed to start reporting yesterday.
Manfred's like that grumpy. Manfred's like that grumpy uncle that your parents send you to. It's the one uncle you don't want to be babysat by, and he doesn't let you play with the toys. So, and frankly, he doesn't have the toys. So, yeah, Manfred, he sucks. But both these sides suck. I just don't care. I wish they would just come to an agreement, which they will, because there's a lot of money they'll lose if they don't play this year. So they will come to an agreement. Well, they'll be pouting on their way out after they sign the deal, but they're going to play baseball at some point this season. It just might be in July. Do you see a July start again, Paul? And would that'd be a 60-game season again?
No, it wouldn't be 60 games. It'd be somewhere in the 75 to 80. But yeah, no. They're either going to probably start playing May 1 or not play at all. That's my guess at this point. Look, are there some things that the players probably could kind of, figure out and work on their own? Sure. But by all accounts, I mean, the owners and Manfred and their lawyers have came to the table acting in bad faith. So I don't know. I don't see how they get this thing off the ground at this point for a start at March 31st for opening day. I just don't. That being said, I hope people go out and support minor league baseball this year. I still know people from college who are working throughout minor league baseball, even outside from college, from people I've met, just whether it's playing summer ball or coaching, who are now working in minor league systems and teams. They are people still at heart there. Do not take your aggression out on the MLB directly on them. Go support these minor league teams. They are at the attack again of the owners. Go support them, support those players. Minor league baseball is really fun. I love going to minor league games. And I'm looking forward to going to more than I've been able to the past few summers.
Get yourself a dome dog.
Really am. No, not a dome dog. But, yeah, minor league baseball. Hope people are ready for it.
Yeah, it should be a good time. It would be interesting if we come into a scenario where it's just minor league baseball going on, which I think there's a very good likely chance that will be the case.
Well, that'll be the case for sure, at least to start the de facto baseball season.
At least April. And because what do you think the cutoff is of starting on time? I think it is the end of this month.
On time? No. That's past.
Still think there's a chance.
I don't.
I think if they start playing by, that would be, I think February 28th is a Monday. So by then they could start on time. It would be a shortened spring training, would be my opinion. Will it happen? Absolutely not. That is less than 2 weeks away. So this season is not going to start on time, and which kind of stinks because we haven't had a normal MLB season since 2019. I mean, there was a season last year, but it still was, a little bit with the COVID. It's just like, I don't know. And maybe because I'm a Pirates fan, they were terrible. So it just really didn't feel like a season to me. But, and this season's not going to feel like a season either. So it could be about 4 years till I feel like there's been a real MLB season. But do not do the universal DH. Ban the DH is what we want.
No.
We want our pitchers hitting. If you're going to play the field.
Because there's nothing I love more than watching more strikeouts.
It don't matter. We need to get rid of the David Ortizes of the world.
So you're saying that my senior
year
year
to make the David Ortizes extinct.
So you're saying my senior year of baseball I should not have been playing because I was a DH?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I will say it right to your face. Ban the DH. You're not a position.
Okay.
That's Nick Felice representing the National League for life.
You realize there's been like one person protesting that, and that's it.
Well, they're not letting the other people talk because,
to quote the great Billy Bean, "Adapt or die."
He is not great. he can throw his computers out the window. Moneyball was a good flick, but get rid of the computers.
Have you watched Moneyball yet?
I've watched it when it came out, not in theaters, but when it came out on DVD and Blu-ray.
Who plays Scott Hatterberg?
Oh my goodness, Seth Rogen. No, it's the Jurassic Park, Chris Pratt.
Good boy. All right, let's move on to the last topic, Nick.
Daytona week.
Hell yeah, dude. It's Daytona 500 weekend. NASCAR starting. We're hyped. We're ready to go. Chris Woodson is, I don't know if you saw that, or Charles Woodson, rather, is the Grand Marshal. He's the one giving the command to fire engines this year.
Really?
Yeah.
You going?
I wish. Next year, I think, fingers crossed.
When's the last time you went to Daytona 500?
Last 500 was 2004. Last time I went to Daytona was 2009.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You haven't been there since the Yankees won a World Series.
Thanks, Nick.
And that was a long time ago.
Not as long as 1979. Anyway.
I don't know. 2009 was a while ago.
Keep pounding that drum, wannabe DH boy. Anyway, new car this year. We discussed that a little bit with the Clash, but new car this year. New excitement, new tracks. It's going to be an exciting year for NASCAR, and no better place to start than Daytona 500. I get excited this time of year no matter what, so we'll talk a little bit about the 500 itself, the season a little bit, make some predictions. So, Nick, question for you to start. What do you know about this NASCAR season? Anything at all? Or
Well, there's a start, there's an all-star race, and there's a finish where a champion will be crowned. And then there's Watkins Glen in the middle.
Correct statement. That is correct.
That is a correct statement. Why is there something new? I mean, with the cars you were saying last week?
Yeah. We have a single lug nut tire now. We have sequential shifting. It's going to be fun. Going to be a fun time. The cars
All I want to know is you
fresh.
You do your little spiel.
Yep.
I just want to know if you think Kyle Larson is going to repeat.
No. Not this year. This is the most up for grab title, in my opinion, in quite some time. New car. It's going to take a while. I think this puts a lot of driving back in the driver's hands. The guys who are really good at grabbing that wheel and letting it all hang out. And Larson's good at that, don't get me wrong. But he did struggle when he first came into NASCAR and specifically the Cup Series for a while until they were able to get the high downforce and lower horsepower package back in. Now it's kind of in the middle, 610 horsepower, somewhere medium on the downforce, give or take. But these cars are tough to handle. Drivers have said that. I think this puts a lot of stuff back in the hands of drivers. I think your Kyle Busches, Kevin Harvick's, the guys who have struggled the past couple of years, I think this puts a lot of it back in their hands. But I think you'll still see guys like an Alex Bowman, Blaney, those guys do really well still. I think this fits, like I said, if you're a talented driver who's able to grab that wheel and go to work, this car's for you. You mentioned obviously what's new, specifically with the cars, but I mentioned there's new tracks. Cup, for instance, first time they'll be going to what is now known as Worldwide Technology Raceway, aka Gateway. Looking forward to that. Might be the last race at the big track in Fontana before they make it a short track. Who knows? But this is as close to the normal schedule as we had in a while in terms of going places and everything like that. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. New faces, familiar faces, and new places. It's going to be a blast. Two-car team now for 2311. Kurt Busch is over there. Ganassi sold their team. Trackhouse a two-car team now with Chastain and Suarez. Question from the crowd. Go ahead, sir.
Yes. It's a two-part question.
Sure.
Has Bubba ever made the playoffs, and what is it going to take for him to make the playoffs this year?
He hasn't. One, he has not. Two, win in the regular season.
What if he doesn't win again? He did win once last year, but what if he doesn't win? And what kind of points are we looking at? Is he going to have to put together?
Well, he'd have to probably point his way in. That being said, after the All-Star race last July, he was the 10th highest point scorer in the Cup Series. I think will help having a teammate this year, but with the new car, I think this levels the playing field, so who knows? I do think he could point his way in if not enough people have won races. Just has to be consistent. That's always been kind of his struggle, is putting together a full season for the most part. Trucks, I remember his second year in trucks, he had 4 wins, but his low points, he'd be finishing last because he'd wreck or someone blew or something like that. So just put together a nice full season and go from there. I think a win would be the goal again, get another win. Preferably to shut more haters up. Maybe not a rain race, but
regular season this time.
Yes, that way you're in the playoffs and piss even more people off. That'd be the game plan. Yeah. I mean, this Daytona 500. I want to talk about that for a quick second too.
Is this your most favorite race you're looking forward to all year?
I mean, it's hard not to get excited, right, about the Super Bowl of your sport. But for me personally, it's tough to say no for the 500, even though I do look forward to going to Richmond. I do look forward to going to Watkins. I look forward to going to the tracks I go to in person to see races in person.
What's your favorite one to watch on TV? Martinsville.
Probably Martinsville or Bristol, the short tracks, beat and bang. But, I mean, Daytona's fun, Talladega's fun. But those, I mean, I always say if you want to see a race in person, those are the ones to go to anyway because, I mean, it's just nutty. Anyway, for the 500, going back to that for a quick second. New teams, new faces. For instance, do you know that Floyd Mayweather is technically a car owner in the 500 this year? Yeah. The Money Team, his business group, the Money Team Racing is making their long-awaited debut after a couple of years of saying that they would, and here they are. And they're going to be running with Kaz Grala. That car will be hard to miss. It's the 50 Pit Viper car. For all the true motorsports fans out there, as I'll call you, Jacques Villeneuve is making his return to NASCAR. He'll be attempting the Daytona 500. The Mighty Team will be attempting as well. Neither of them are locked into the show. So that'll be exciting to see. Greg Biffle makes his return.
Really?
He will be attempting the 500 for NY Racing. Not too sure what to expect with that group. But that's a long story for a different podcast.
What's Jimmy Johnson's deal?
Full time in IndyCar this year.
Really?
Yep. Their season starts in 2 weeks.
Do you think that will draw more interest?
I don't know. IndyCar is a tough... I like watching IndyCar. I like watching all the, I guess, major 3 of motorsports. Really major 4, I guess, if you want to count the endurance stuff. So, I don't know. Each group is pretty niche. I mean, obviously you have guys who watch every single one, but we still have our favorites. Like for me, it's NASCAR. I don't know if he'll draw any interest. I mean, I'm sure there'll be more cross interest from NASCAR this time around, but probably not all that much.
Why the move? I thought he'd just be done with racing all in general.
I wanted to try something new. I can't blame him. Same reason why some of the IndyCar guys jumped to NASCAR there for a while after they were in IndyCar for a number of years.
Does he have a good team?
He's with Ganassi, yeah. One of the top teams. It's all about seat time for him, though. I don't know how well he's going to do. He struggled mightily last year, so I don't know how well he's going to do.
This is his first year full-time?
Yep. That being said, in IndyCar, he only ran the road and street courses last year, which account for like 90% of the schedule. So he only missed, I think, like 3 races.
I did look up the schedule, the NASCAR schedule, and I think we need some more Saturday races. It's only like 2 or 3.
I agree with you, but they don't draw all that well anymore at the moment.
Saturday nights.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily disagree. I think I'd prefer, I'm with you, probably a couple more, but they don't draw well TV or in person as much anymore.
Has that been dwindling down over the years? Yeah.
It's all about TV time too. What window that you can get in, that type of deal.
Yep.
Let's do predictions for it, shall we? Daytona 500 winner. I'm going to take the homer route because Daytona's a toss-up. Give me Bubba. Does well at the plate tracks anyway. So give me Bubba. Give me the 23. The Fry Wagon is we're calling it. McDonald's ride.
Okay, and then I want your prediction of who is going to win the championship this year, and your most surprised guy to look out for this year.
Okay. Championship in the Cup. I'll do a champion. I'll do one for each series as well. Truck Series champion this year. Truck Series champion this year. It's going to be interesting because there was a lot of turnover in that series, and same with Xfinity. All 3 series actually had a ton of turnover. Pretty crazy. I think for Trucks, though, Trucks, it's tough to go against a veteran, but they haven't done well recently. I'd like to see what type of equipment they get first, but I'm going to go with Carson Hocevar. He's a really good short track guy. Did really well his rookie year last year in some mid-pack equipment, give or take. He's with the same team, but they're getting some extra funding from Chevrolet, so I'm going to go with Hocevar. Xfinity? I'm going to go with AJ Allmendinger. I think he gets the job done. He's still with his group with Colleague Racing, but going to be a toss-up in the Xfinity Series. There's, again, a lot of turnover. And then for Cup Series champion this year, I'm going to go with Kyle Busch. And the guy to watch out for, Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick's going to do, I think, really well with this car. He's going to figure out how to put a full race together. I think he's going to go far.
I'll add one more.
Sure.
Who's going to be the 1 seed? Who's going to be the top guy in the regular season? Like the Kyle Larson last year.
I think top guy in the regular season.
Kyle Busch, you could say him, too.
I don't think it's going to be, though. He does really well over the length of a year. I'll go Blaney. I think Blaney's going to do really well.
All right. I'm going to say Daytona 500 winner is going to be Chase Elliott.
Okay.
I'm going to say the Championship Cup winner this year is going to be, well, I'll say the guy that's going to be the best this year is going to be Joey Logano.
Okay.
And the guy that's going to win the championship this year, Denny Hamlin's going to win it all this year.
All right.
And a guy to look out for, the man that's going to be a name, Austin Dillon.
Best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, ever since I went to Watkins last year, Paul, I'm already a sports junkie. I'm starting to become a bigger fan.
All right. I'm with it. All right. That wraps up the show for the week. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Update you guys where we'll be broadcasting from. Only 2 more games left regular season-wise. Tomorrow, Ted Baker will be in Palmac for Penyan at Palmac Girls Basketball. It should be fun. 7:30, FO1 Radio, and the Palmac Athletic YouTube channel. Make sure you check him out. He's working with the students that got up there. They do a fantastic job with that. Then Thursday night, Jim Sacropi and Mike Alessio will be in Lions for Palmac Lions Boys. That should be a really good game to punctuate the regular season. And then we're off to sectionals for broadcasting. So keep an eye out for that, where we'll be with that.
Goodbye.
We'll have our brackets out, all that fun stuff over the weekend. Looking forward to it. It's a fun time of year, March Madness.
Yeah, it's 4 weeks, month to go.
All right, Nick, who you got? Parting thoughts, who you shouting out?
Double shout out today.
Okay.
Couple Valentine Day birthdays.
Oh,
from yesterday. Shout out my good friend Marquise Patterson and Nick Crisani, my cousin. Good. He's the brother of Steve Crisani, who's been on the show before.
Shout out, Steve.
So yeah, happy birthday, Nick and Q. Not me and Q, my cousin Nick and Q. But yeah. Happy birthday, shout out.
All right. There we go. If you haven't already, people, like, share, subscribe. All the fun stuff help us out, help Finger Lakes one out. We'll catch you guys next week here on the Fresh Shakes Podcast. Until then, take it easy.